Mhm. Don't say that. Mhm.
Hello, Mr. Eldridge.
Hey there.
Hi, I'm Kelly and I'm with Partners. I'm here to interpret for this Cody meeting.
Okay.
Am I in the right place?
I guess I'm still trying to figure out why the Zoom won't do I'm sitting here arguing myself.
Well, I see there's nobody else and I was told to be here at 2:45.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why, as always. Do you see me?
I can see you, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I wish I could see you or anyone
Oh,
else.
hmm.
Understand. I really don't get it. So, well, hello. Anyway,
Well, hello. Well, I just wanted to make sure I was at the right place. The email I have, I guess this meeting starts at 3 o'clock.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And I was signed on early because I always have problems getting in. So I had it all
Okay.
set up and everything is fine.
And you
Everything
can
is
see me
great.
now?
Nope.
Oh,
So at the last minute, it filled my screen up. I don't see very well. Okay. So when it fills my screen up for reasons unknown, with various like, do you want this? Do you want to do that? How about that? I like try to get rid of it because I don't want it. Leave me alone. Just let me see this.
sure.
So here I am. So now I'm sitting here looking at a screen, kind of like a menu screen that you first come to. And I click on the various options and nothing happens. So it is well, again, I hope I'm not sticking my tongue out at you or anything.
I was just looking to see if I could figure out how to help you, but I'm not really sure.
I have no idea. Well, I mean, it's not. I'm sure it's not on the end, the client end, or it's not on your side of things or whatever. It's just software on my PC. It goes wacky, and so it's kind of tough when you're visually, what do you call it, challenge or low vision, what word you want to use. Anyway, when you can't see, it's pretty rude. They keep saying all these wonderful things that help people with low vision, and fact of the matter is, it doesn't because it assumes that there's certain things you have to go back to, and if you can't see the basic stuff like the screen king, your world's going to come to an end, or something's going to blow up, or this or that, and you have no idea what they're talking about. Then you're kind of at the mercy of whatever kind of comes to their mind. But anyway, but enough about me. Anyway,
I'm looking to see if I can see anything that might help you in some way. It would make more sense to me that you could see me and not yourself, but you can't see, you only see yourself.
no, I don't even see myself.
Oh, you don't even see yourself.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got on before I joined the meeting, it was a picture of me. I could see myself. And then I hit join, and then it was great because it showed my picture. And so I assumed I was just waiting for other folks to show up. And
Can you move that top layer, that top screen layer? Because I've had that problem before where the video is actually behind whatever's on front.
oh, I got it. No, I don't know. Let's try it. Why? There you go. Can you imagine that? Hello there.
Did it work? All right.
Yeah,
Yay.
I can see it.
I'm having a great day.
There you go.
Just keeps getting better. Great.
Great. Well, now it depends on do I have anything worth saying? That I don't know. I can't promise. I can't promise any profound statements, things of that sort.
All right, I just wanted to make sure that I was in the right place. So I guess because it starts at 3, maybe my team will chime in at 3.
Could be, or not. We don't know. Normally people are on, usually about 2:30 on, people kind of start showing in from various places. So, but that hasn't happened
Okay.
yet, which only makes you wonder. Yeah, I must be in the right place because two of us can't make the same mistake. Oh, there comes more people. It
Oh,
looks like.
okay. All right. All right. Well, what I think I will do is I'm going to close my screen out and I'll wait for either deaf people to show up or my team to show up.
Got it.
All right. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's certainly nice to see you, John.
Hi there. Yeah, it's nice. I guess I should say it's nice to be seen as
Yes,
egotistic. I
I've
always
got
hate
my
that.
camera off for right now because I'm about to go grab another cup of coffee for the meeting and then I'll be back.
That's not a problem. I'm just thrilled that it's actually working. I seem to every time I go to do something, it seems like it
Oh,
conspires against me.
goodness. Yeah,
So
well, I'm glad it's working and working well. I'll be back just as soon as I have fresh coffee.
knock yourself out.
Are you on my mic? I'm not on mute. Oh. I always go early because I'm cheating. What do you mean? That's when I'm supposed to be on my phone. Oh. Go on your email and click on the link. And don't sign into Zoom. Just put in Stephanie Brewer Cook in your email address and phone. Because it's not like I'm gonna close everything and over the phone scripts. I know, I can't wait to do it. You know, I want to craft it.
Alexa, turn on office.
If you see me distracted, you'll know that I'm trying to semi-pay attention to two different things. Okay. My mom will be back at 4:30 to get me. Okay. And so if there may be a hiccup, if it doesn't even pass it, then I'm gonna switch it to my phone, which is where the hiccup may be, switching from this internet to my phone internet, and then just bring my laptop to the car and go from there. Well, if you need to cut out a Codi early, that's okie dokie too. Well, I'm afraid that if I do that, it'll mess up like recordings and, you know, all of that, so I prefer not if I don't have Codi. Yeah, I need to make sure I've got everything in my office for packing up. I found 3 insurers here this morning that I am taking home. Well, my mom got me some more, but she got me the ones with like 21 grams of protein. Oh my gosh, Stephanie, those things just taste weird.
Really? What brand are they?
Ensure.
Those should be the best things for you.
Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're staying dry.
Hi there. Well, Toto hasn't walked in yet. So,
Day's not
good.
over yet.
That's right. Well, I saw him fly by. I don't know if he's gonna be back.
I think we're waiting on round 2 to come through.
Boy, I can't wait. I guess I'll notice it when my cars go flipping over down the street.
Misha, did you forget to pay your light bill?
No, I'm still straightening up stuff. I've got just a minute or two and then I'll be online.
Yeah, I was taking it personally. I thought, gosh, I thought I was being blacked out. I thought it was some kind of a censorship thing. I didn't know.
You can hear that, Troy?
Yeah, the.
Hey there.
Well, hello.
Looking okay there. Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right on.
Know somebody is Robles one of your guys?
No.
He knows who walks to the front door.
Yeah.
Never know.
Okay, family. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are you today?
Peachy, thanks. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Good.
All right, John, do you want to call us to order so we can do roll and get started?
Let's do it. It is 3:01, and at this time, we're going to call to order our May meeting. I'm so sorry that we weren't able to meet in person like we wanted to, but I'm grateful that you're all safe and dry. At this time, I think we're going to do roll call. Misha,
All right, Barber,
here.
Brooks,
Here.
Kane,
Here.
Carter,
Here.
thank you. Childress,
Here.
thank you. Eldridge,
Here.
Lowe,
Here.
Maxwell,
Here.
Matheson,
Here, ma'am.
Mall,
Present.
Robertson,
Here.
thank you. Shimon Orr,
Here.
Simmons, Spangler.
Here.
Villanueva reported she would be absent. Welch
Here.
and Ziegler.
Here.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Pretty good crowd.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to vote to approve our April minutes. One quick note before we do so, just a reminder, just a Zoom thing. If you're not speaking, just go ahead and put yourself on mute. And that way we just keep background noise and stuff to a minimum. So thank you for doing that. At this time, I need a motion to approve April's minutes, reminding you that you had to have been at that meeting in order to make a motion or second it.
This is Welch. I'll make a motion.
This is Carter.
Okay. Okay, anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Those minutes are approved. Moving along. Next, we have our member advocacy and information section, which is going to be hosted by yours truly. And Misha, are you good to move on to that? Great. So I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, and I picked something that was kind of personal to me and my family. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of glass children. And glass children is one of those things that I don't know that everybody's familiar with that term. And maybe that conjures up a mental image for you when you hear it. Maybe you think about someone with brittle bone disease or something like that, but that's not what we're talking about. Let me fill you in. When I talk about publicly about my family's history with disability, I tend to lead with, as a parent of a child on the autism spectrum, and talk about my oldest. I don't usually add the fact that I also have 2 other kids, but I do. And this is indicative of the problem that families with a child living with a disability face. This is the problem of the glass child. Glass children are the siblings of children with disabilities. One source defines glass children like this. A glass child describes a sibling of a child with special needs or who needs constant additional support or attention. The term is used to describe how a child without these special needs may be standing next to a special needs sibling, but the parents see right through them as if they were made of glass. As my kids grew up, we constantly fought against resentment toward us and toward our oldest child because Sam took so much energy and work. We had a light bulb moment when a counselor told us that it seems like everything in your house orbits around Sam. And that's exactly what it was like. Sam was, and still in a lot of ways is, the center, the focus of every plan, every conversation, every celebration. And while that might come across negatively, like I'm resentful of it, I promise I'm not. As Sam's parents, we worked hard to focus on Sam's needs, but I suppose that if you ask my other 2, Lainey and Ben, the idea of being a glass child would really resonate with them. Glass children tend to be remarkably tough individuals. They learn to fend for themselves because their parents' attention is usually focused on their sibling with a disability. The phrase you're most likely to hear from a glass child is, "I'm fine," even when they aren't, because they have to be. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and neglect. The prevailing characteristics of glass children are they can be chronic people pleasers. They are unable or unwilling to address or express their personal needs. They always say everything is fine, regardless of how they actually feel. They have a compromised sense of self-worth, or they can feel defined by their special needs sibling. There's feelings of isolation. They can develop trauma or post-traumatic stress. Oftentimes, they're just forced to grow up way too early rather than experience their own childhood. Glass children learn to push down their own needs at the expense of their siblings, sometimes while adopting the role of a caregiver. Their sense of duty is strong, but their sense of self-worth is underdeveloped. Glass children tend to suffer with perfectionism or the pressure to be problem-free. They tend to take on parental or caregiver roles from a young age. They feel compelled to make others happy, even at the expense of their own well-being. They're quiet. They have difficulty or an unwillingness to express personal wants or needs, and they have difficulty setting boundaries. And they tend to be hyper independent. For 3 years, I was the director of an organization called Johnny and Friends, which supports families living with disabilities. And the flagship program of Johnny and Friends is called Family Retreat. Family Retreat is a week-long camp for families. It's one of a very few places where families with a child with a disability can come and not feel singled out or strange or isolated. It's a place of radical acceptance and inclusion. And at Family Retreat, each child gets a buddy, someone to spend time with them, doing what they want to do, mini golf, swimming, whatever. While parents get time to take a breath, while being able to trust that their children are being taken care of by trusted and trained volunteers.
What's up?
You want a meeting?
Yeah, what's up?
I will never forget hearing a parent tell me that for the first time, I have no idea where my son is, and it feels amazing because they knew their son was safe. Now, notice I said that each child gets a buddy. It's not only the child with a disability that gets a buddy, it's their siblings too. Their typical sibling gets a friend to pal around with all week, sometime whose only job is to make sure that they have fun. Want to play cornhole all day? That's what we're going to do. My youngest son got to be a buddy for a typical sibling a couple of years ago. This was a kid with a twin brother with severe cerebral palsy. And this little kid, 9 years old, was his twin brother's best friend, sometimes caregiver. They slept in the room together. He eats, breathes, and sleeps his twin brother. And for that week, my son Ben got to have his ear talked off about Pokemon and superheroes and dinosaurs and whatever for 5 straight days. And this young kid got to have his moment. It was amazing. Parents of children with disabilities face so many challenges, and there can be a ton of guilt when they realize that the amount of time they're pouring into their child with a disability is causing their typical child to feel neglected. It's a no-win situation. How can you give one-on-one attention to a child when you literally can't leave their sibling alone? The result is that oftentimes these glass children have to grow up way too fast. As you interact with these families, be aware of all the children in the family. The quietest ones may be the ones suffering the most. Any questions, thoughts, comments? Steph?
Just a heartfelt thank you for sharing that. The concept of glass children, I guess, hadn't occurred to me, but it makes sense. It makes sense. And I have seen children who have parents with disabilities display some of this. They're perfectionists. They're never late. They're always on time. They're always 3 steps ahead. They're anticipating another individual's needs, because they grew up with a mama or a daddy that needed some kind of assistance. And wow. So I just heartfelt. I thank you for sharing your personal story. How old are your children?
So we have 3. Sam is 24, Lainey is 21, and Ben is 17.
Great kids. Great kids. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that.
Anybody else?
Yeah, John Simmons here. Yeah, I got in here a little late, but yeah, it is amazing watching the siblings and the parents. When I was working with ETAC, I'd started a program called Spark, which ironically they got a Spark, but it was starting people along the roads of knowledge. And basically, I was wanting to look at people that had graduated high school and been out 1 or 2 years in 1 or 2 things. They either weren't in secondary education, they weren't working, so we kind of knew where they were. Most of them probably stuck in a basement and watching or playing video games or television, But the funniest time about parents actually knowing where they were, I had to work really hard to get the confidence of more than one parent. I called them helicopter moms and dads. They didn't want to leave. And most of the young men and women that I had were between 18 and 20, and they were on the spectrum to some sort. But it was tough, number one, getting these kids to come out. But it was amazing how supportive they were. And then to see the relief, and I still to this day haven't been there since COVID broke out. To this day, I'm still friends with parents, and they're just talking about how grateful they were that that their kids actually. It was funny because I got a bunch of equipment: basketball goals, bocce balls, croquet, volleyball / badminton, and ETAC had about 2 acres. But I told these kids we're going to play games. We're going outside. They looked at me like I was nuts. They were headed to the computer room. So it took forever. That one you had to be careful because they were all white as biscuits, and they were outside. They're getting burnt up. So we had, but it was amazing just in the months that I was doing it to watch the confidence that these young men and women built, and the friendships that they developed, being that they all had something. Most of them, like I said, were on the spectrum. I had 2 kids with cerebral palsy, and it was heartfelt to me. Number one, to watch the parents relief, like, hey, I finally had to tell a couple of them, y'all just go to lunch because they keep looking for you. So we're good. And I get it. They're not wanting to leave where the guy who can't chase the kid down, can't grab a hold of their shirt and stop them from running. But I think that was one of the things that helped that class grow, was the fact that I had a fairly severe disability, and it kind of bonded in and out. But yeah, it sounded similar to some of the stuff, and yeah, I appreciate you sharing your story. But I got a lot of empathy in that experience with it, watching those young men and women grow and develop, and the parents actually see a sigh of relief, going, because they probably knew that their kids had certain abilities and this and that. But it was that touched me. You sharing your story, and it reminded me of those. So I figured I'd just rattle on about it.
That's great,
all I
Joel.
got.
Thank you. Thank you, Joel. Anybody else? Got your own experiences with something like this? All right, well, let's move along. We're going to move on to committee and strategic plan groups. Bylaws did not meet. Membership is scheduled to meet June 5th and transportation on June 10th. Let's do livability next. Who's up for livability? Misha?
I want to just make a comment real quick for membership. We do have another meeting, of course, in June. I just wanted to mention, because we had told everybody we'd probably present some of the nominees this month, that we're not actually doing that this month. And the reason why is because we got 3 additional nominees that will not be interviewed until next Monday. So we've got a good group of people. I think there are, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 people that have nominated for Codi. So we've got a lot to choose from, and that will be coming at the June meeting. So stay tuned for that.
Excellent. Yeah, it really is a good group. You guys are going to be impressed when we bring those to you. All right. Who's up for livability?
Maul, this is Maul, John.
Go for it.
I think Karen may have we did meet, and I think Karen may have a report for us, our committee secretary.
I can, Miss Claudia. This is Lo. We did meet. It was a very small group. It was myself, Claudia, Stephanie, and Jackson Kane. So we didn't have a lot to discuss, honestly. We did touch on that unfortunately no more accessibility checklists have been completed. And I know we discussed a little bit with Stephanie about possibly talking with the whole Codi group about if we actually want to kind of put that on the back burner, or if we want to try and focus on that again. Because now would be a good time with football season not started and basketball season, it's actually a decent time to do that. So I didn't know if we wanted to discuss that as a whole group. I'm not sure who is scheduled to do their accessibility checklist in May. If Stephanie or Misha know that, that would be great. But anybody, of course, can always do it. And if you want a buddy to go along, contact me, Kanya. Anyone who's done a couple is, I'm sure, willing to help. Sometimes funds are a little tight right now for me, so, but I'd be willing to go out to eat at least once or twice a month. But other than that, we just chit chatted a little bit, honestly. So it was a fun meeting. But that's all I got.
Okay, Misha, do you have that information
I'm
about
looking at
the,
where I sent it out a few months ago so that I can
Yeah.
re-forward that to everyone.
that'd be great.
This is Maul, John. I think Cook has her hand up.
I think
Oh, I
it's
didn't
me
see-
and Kanya that we're supposed to do it. Isn't it, Kanya?
Yes.
Were you guys for May or for April?
April.
Okay.
This is Welch. I had tried to discuss something with Kanya. We were trying to figure out, I'm scheduled to do one in May, but we haven't made an actual date to do it.
Okay, Cook, do you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to suggest if you could, this might make it a little simpler and able to get a few more of these done. If you might consider staying within the downtown core so that I seem to recall that when this project began, we were really focused solely on downtown, and I think it's beautiful that it has expanded to other parts of the city. But I also think that will help us to really expand the perimeter, and it's going to be just too big of an elephant to try to take one bite at a time at. So perhaps if we could focus on the downtown restaurants, businesses, that sort of thing, and get a really good list of those that we can share, our disability friendly and welcoming and that sort of thing. I think that would be an amazing outcome for this body. Folks coming down 5 years from now, 20 years from now, and seeing the decals, Cody deemed this place as disability friendly. Sparks interest in what you all do, sparks interest hopefully in the business and going in and seeing what that means. I mean, how do you all feel about that? I personally would love to know the disability friendliness of every business in town, but there's probably, well, I know there's millions and millions of square feet involved, and that's, we're only human. Just wanted to get your all's thoughts on that.
Yeah,
Doing the survey
think-
like that.
Yeah, I think we should hear from the livability crew first about that.
This is Spangler. The only problem with focusing on downtown, I think, is that you have to go into a restaurant you can't go during lunch rush, you can't go during dinner rush. So that leaves like a 2 to 4 window, and downtown you got to pay for parking.
This is Simmons. I don't have to pay for parking and I'm downtown a lot. Go ahead, Stephanie.
I was just going to remind us, each of you got one of these little handy gadgets. If we know when you plan to be downtown, we can let PBA know, and they will activate your card so you can park in this garage and go have your merry appetizer or whatever you choose to have before 6. I think it's 6 when the parking becomes free.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
No, I didn't know that was a possibility. So thank you.
Absolutely.
This is Carter, and I certainly, if downtown's what everyone wants to focus on, then that's what I think that we need to do. But I do want to say, just due to the unevenness of cobblestones and things down in that area and the more darker inside areas of some of the restaurants, there's no way I could do a evaluation alone because I can't read anyway, even in the large print. So I don't mind anybody volunteering to go with me. I love that. I get to know somebody that I otherwise wouldn't, but I don't have like an available companion that's in this area, like my sister or a good friend or somebody, because I've only been here a couple of years myself.
Okay, I'm off mute. This is Zuback. It looks like Carter, it looks like for the accessibility surveys, and I also just emailed you. You had signed up for August 2024 and January 2025. There are actually several other people that had signed up to do one in August. Those include Barber, Childress, Maxwell. And I
Okay.
think that's it. So if one of those people would like to go with you, that might be a good matchup.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I am sorry that it is the way it is, but
Oh, no,
there's just nothing out there, truly that
there is no need to be sorry.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't want to be a stick in the mud either, because I want to do my part.
No, there is absolutely no need to apologize, Carter. And in fact, this helps us inform like exactly the issues we're trying to come up with. I mean, if these restaurants aren't accessible, like that's what we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that your input there is incredibly important. And these things are sort of designed to go in pairs anyway. So that's totally fine. We'll make it work.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I go to the Tennessee Theater, which is terribly inaccessible,
Mhm.
especially in the balcony. But I always go with my grandson when I go downtown, and he's amazing. And I always hold his arm, and he's, like a guide dog, really. And when I'm on my own, I use a cane, but I wouldn't go down there without him because he understands, he watches for everything, so I can go down there comfortably. And I just hate to feel like I'm inconveniencing people, but I would love to get to know some of y'all a little better.
Well,
That's
Carter,
great.
if you ever go see a ballet, I would love to be inconvenienced by going to the Tennessee Theater with you.
Okay, I will keep that in mind because he always goes to see plays only and never ballets. So
There you go.
mind if you go.
Awesome. Hey, Cook.
I can't control my mute button, or my mouse button, maybe. Nancy, I was just going to suggest, if you have specific issues with accessibility at the Tennessee Theater and you're comfortable emailing them to me, please do that, because two things. This body about 18 or however many years ago was approached by the theater, and we all weighed in. We did a couple of visits, couple of tours, gave them information on making it more accessible because they were taking on a big fundraised renovation. And I don't know why, but I'm thinking that recently I've heard something similar. They're going to be doing something different, a renovation expand. I don't know. It seems like, but we can certainly let them know if you have found any access barriers, because if they're anything like they were back then, they welcome and want to know how they can make it as open and usable for everybody. Because
Yeah,
that's the most beautiful theater around.
it is. And this is Carter. And I thank you for that, Stephanie. And I
Absolutely.
definitely will. And some people, it might be sometimes due to the fact that you don't really think a lot about vision unless you're the one visually impaired. But I'll just give you a couple of examples. Upstairs in the balcony, totally dark, no marking on dark steps in a dark area, and no handrails. So the last time we went to play, we sat up there and we had a time. We did. It's like I wasn't familiar at all, and I kept stepping off the edge of the step and he's like trying to help me go. So that's just 2 issues I can tell you about, but I'll be glad to send you an email. And thank you.
This
Good
is
deal.
Simmons. While we're on the theater thing, I want to give a tip of the hat to Tom Bug because he's a general manager. I know at the BSU, I think with the Tennessee as well, and he's really open to hearing ideas and does what he can. He's helped me quite a few times when I've had difficulty getting the accessibility seating and all. It's really difficult on their website sometimes to navigate, but I think he's really open to ideas and listens well.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Okay, Misha emailed out the livability survey schedule. So check your email, see for when you signed up, and let's get those things going. Do we have anything else for livability?
This is Brooks. I just reviewed the schedule. Thank you, Misha, for sending that out again. I have some that I can complete, but could someone please remind me where the survey or form is that I need to use to do that?
I'll go ahead and re-email that out to everyone so that they have that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Misha. All right, let's move on to universal design.
This is Simmons. Of course, we were earth changing once again, as we always are in universal design every other month. Nancy Welsh had some fantastic guests show up from the real estate market, as well as a gentleman that does home conversions where where people can't afford to buy another home, but kind of like Vincent Thompson, who we had that gave us the books on it's always I think less expensive to do all that stuff on the front end than it is having worked on a home before myself when I bought an older home in Memphis. Tearing out and remodeling is a lot more difficult than just doing it right that way on the beginning of it. But they really confirmed everything that we've said, that the builders are selling everything they can, but they also affirmed to us that the people are calling in and they are actively looking for aging in places with the master bedroom and bath on the level with 0-step entrance and walk-in showers and all. So they're seeing it in the market, and it just reconfirms, I think, what we've said and finally agreed on it. And they were talking about the city reducing codes, making it easier for builders to come in laxing those codes. We've said that from the beginning, that code seems to be the way. We don't want to. It can't influence. The market is going to dictate what needs to be done, but the real estate agents confirmed what we thought all along, that people coming here are reaching out, and that's their concerns: aging in place, and the accessibility and the cost factors of it. That's kind of a nutshell of what we went through. I'm sure Cook, yep, there goes the hand. Go ahead, Mrs. Cook.
Simmons, why are you always picking on me?
Oh no, I'm just
teasing.
a visionary. I got vision. The rest of the world is wearing bifocals. I knew when I said any questions that you are astute and observant enough, you can fill in the gaps for me.
Okay, I'm gonna give you that one. I'm gonna give you that one. I just wanted to mention that I think you said, Simmons, you said that the codes is where it's at. We need to change codes. That's not what we talked about. We talked about codes is the avenue to get us where we need to be. And we're looking at how to incentivize people through codes, plans review and inspections. Just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, maybe I didn't say it right. I've said from the beginning, we don't have the teeth, but the city could use codes without forcing builders to do something. So, yeah, we can make all the recommendations we want to.
Oh, yeah.
up higher on the stream where the water's clearest, or where those changes are gonna need to make. Now, we might can rattle the cages enough to where the people up there at the top of the stream go, hey, wait a second, maybe we need to listen.
Yeah,
But yeah, we continue to throw stuff at them, something's gonna stick.
absolutely. Well, I was just encouraged by the meeting, by the gentleman there. I think his first name is Dan. And then we had Holly McCrary. She's a realtor. I've seen commercials or advertisements with her. And then we had another couple of ladies whose name has escaped me, but given their different roles in real estate, they all saw the huge explosion of need for individuals to be able to stay in the home they're in now, or to find housing that's going to allow them to go once they've become older or disabled. So I was encouraged to hear that message coming from all angles.
Great.
This is So
Go ahead, George.
yeah. So when we was in the meeting there, we was talking about the incentivizing and such like that, and trying to lower that fee. So what is the path there that we can take to be able to do that, or even potentially do that?
Well, the path would first of all have to be to speak with that department and get an idea from them of the costs associated with those sorts of permits. We talked about a 50% reduction in the permit, to build like a single family home or dwelling. But I couldn't tell you if it's a flat permit fee, if it's based on the square footage of what you're, I couldn't tell you any of that. So we would first need to do just a little bit of research with our development services team to learn that. And then we need to just continue, I think, to share the message. We have all heard for 10, 15 years now about this senior tsunami. Well, it has happened. And now we have seniors. We've seen them coming. We've anticipated their needs, but we didn't do a whole lot to prepare for them. And now we're kind of playing catch up mode, so I think we just need to continue our messaging. I mean, the city's obviously on board with increasing the number and availability of affordable, attainable housing, and we will make it accessible, to the degree that fair housing and our programs allow and require. But we're still trying to fill that gap for single family, duplex, triplexes, these things that would not require access per Fair Housing Act or anything else. So it's a work in progress still. But I see that, we would hopefully have an opportunity to make some really good inroads. And the gentleman, I think his name is Dan again, we agreed to meet in 2 months. So in this next month and the following, we'll be trying to get some of that background information done as our homework. So then the Universal Design Group can determine how they want to move which step they want to take next, and that kind of thing. And just as a reminder, if you aren't on the Universal Design Committee, you are still always welcome to their meetings, ask questions, get involved. You don't have to be a member if that's of interest to you. So just know you're always welcome.
This is Simmons again, real quick, then we'll close Universal Design. They reaffirmed some of the things that we've actually believed all along. And one thing that the city the county's got more land, but one thing the city can offer, and they were aware of, is building near transportation for the people that they can build in the city. And the one thing that missing middle housing could do is, there again on codes, make it where people can put duplexes, triplexes, smaller apartment things, and they will be accessible to CAT, which is huge. Depending on, like I said, if I lived in the city of CAT, even though I could drive, I would utilize the bus lines quite a bit. Don't have to worry with the parking, read on your way. So that was one of the things too they're aware of, is getting some some place, housing in place that people can walk to or be close to, the cat. And that was another thing they talked about, getting rid of a lot of the parking area, so you don't have as much parking where they have people come in and talk, at different levels at, Knoxville Transportation Association. They had, people come in and talk about other cities where they've shrunk down the parking because they're going to be near public transportation and increased the number of actual living spaces that there are on, so especially when you're talking about going into the older neighborhoods. Land is at a premium. So the smaller amount, if we cut out some parking because we've got access to public transportation, that puts more accessible dwelling units available if they do it that way. That's all I've got.
Very good. Thank you, Simmons. Okay, moving along to new business. Who's got new business? Zubak.
All right. So I want to report back on 40th anniversary planning. We need to go ahead and get started. I had called the mayor's office to try to find out about her schedule and kind of guide us to what we wanted to do in terms of the month and the day and such. And from her, I got Inky Johnson as a possibility. And this was through her secretary. And then the potential of her possibly introducing Inky. Now, in the meantime, I have emailed him. I have filled
sorry,
out the
Misha,
automatic
introducing who?
form on the website. I have not heard anything back. I do not have a phone number. I do not have any other way to contact him. The email was the only thing I got from the mayor's office. But more so than that, this should also be about Codi, most specifically since it's celebrating Codi. So I think the best bet, since we've kind of been sitting on this since February, is to go ahead and get started, go ahead and do the planning, choose a day, choose a time, choose a month, and then we find a keynote based on that. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's not going to happen. All right. So with that being said, I will send out information next week. I will remind everybody of the subcommittees they're on for this. I will send out polls to everybody so that we can do a first meeting. And then at that first meeting, we will come up with a game plan going forward so that we can knock this out.
Great. Thank you, Zubak. Cook.
I would like to discuss the budget and the Disability Services Office requests of this upcoming budget and what we have now been made aware we will be receiving. Is this a conversation you prefer to keep recording? Do you wish to adjourn meeting and stay on for sidebar? How do you wish to do this?
That's a great question. This is Barbara. I think maybe it's a good idea for us to finish our agenda and then take this up after the recording.
Works
Is that
for
okay?
me.
I
I will
think
be here.
that's a good idea.
Okay, excellent.
Okay. Is there any objection to that? Okay, that's going to be our plan then. Is there any other new business? Okay, seeing none. So next we've got announcements and public forum. So if you have any announcements to make, or if you are a member of the public who is here and would like to take this opportunity to speak, now's your shot. We'd love to hear from you.
This is Brooks. I have one quick thing I would like to add. There's a summer program at UT. It's a pilot program. It's called Therapeutic Horticulture, and it's for students in school that have disabilities for the month of June. And they're offering scholarships. through Publix as well. So if you guys know of any school age children that would be interested in this program, just shoot me an email and I can send you the information.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. If there's no other business, at this time it's 3:42. We're going to end the meeting, but everybody stick around, please.